Imagine missing the train to an important event. How might you feel? Maybe frustrated or angry. How could you think differently to change how you feel? Maybe missing the train doesn't actually ruin your day. It sucks, but now you know to leave earlier next time. You can choose to be happy instead. It's okay to feel frustrated sometimes. These are all examples of a common emotion regulation strategy called cognitive reappraisal. When we have emotions, we first feel them in our bodies. Tightness in our chest, butterflies, or sick to our stomachs. We think thoughts like, oh, I'm so sad, or what a great day, and we behave in certain ways, like yelling, throwing things, we laugh, we cry. And at each of these points are opportunities to change our emotions. Cognitive change or cognitive reappraisal is one such opportunity. But learning cognitive reappraisal is really hard. First, you need theory of mind, the ability to understand and reason about other people's mental states, including their beliefs. You need executive functioning skills, a set of mental skills that include working memory, flexible thinking, and self-control. And you need interoception, sensing internal signals from your body, like when you're hungry or when your heart is beating fast. And take these and apply them to real-life situations. That can be really challenging. Virtual reality is one kind of technology that might be able to support learning cognitive reappraisal. First, in terms of immersion, there's a virtual environment, a simulated world that evokes a visceral experience of a realistic emotional response. So you can experience a strong emotional response to practice emotion regulation skills. In terms of embodiment, you're feeling like you're in a body or someone else's. Not only top-down emotion regulation, but bottom-up, experiential. Possibilities for body-based metaphors and perspective taking. And in terms of presence, there's interaction and feedback in VR. You feel like you are really there. So scaffolded feedback and training of skills in a space where messing up doesn't really matter. In this paper, we talk about co-design workshops as part of a larger project on how virtual reality could be designed to support emotion regulation skills development, specifically cognitive reappraisal in youth. So today, we'll just talk about 3 co-design workshops we did with youth aged 15 to 18. Our goal was to identify opportunities for virtual reality to support skills learning of cognitive reappraisal for youth. First, what kinds of challenges do diverse adolescents face when implementing cognitive reappraisal? And in what ways could VR's capabilities support the learning and transfer of cognitive reappraisal skills with who have those challenges? Our learning outcomes were to engage participants in co-design activities related to the reflection and sharing of personal emotional experiences and emotion regulation strategies. We also wanted to have them articulate the challenges of implementing cognitive reappraisal in the context of their lived emotional experiences, and describe ways that VR could support their development of these skills. This required a lot of scaffolding to get teens to share their lived experiences and understand the different strategies as well as VR's unique capabilities. We had 3 workshops in 2 different high schools. Workshops 1 and 2 were in the same high school, in a grade 10 careers class. Workshop number 3 was in a different high school with a senior drama class. They had different socioeconomic statuses and different kinds of minorities. We mapped our learning outcomes and research questions onto activities over 3 to 7 workshop days. For the first and second workshop, we had 3 days. Here are some examples. of the icebreaker, the CR challenges, group discussion, as well as group ideation. In the third workshop, we implemented it over 7 days, which was span across several weeks. Here you can see participants doing the body and muscle awareness meditation activity. We had the virtual reality demo and their final performances. In terms of what kind of challenges do diverse adolescents face when implementing cognitive reappraisal? First, we saw brain freeze, where teens experienced intense emotions that overwhelmed them and stopped critical thinking. They had limited abilities in selecting adaptive strategies, so were left off feeling worse than they started. Some had trouble understanding another's point of view, while others wanted to change aspects of the situation rather than their own thinking. In this scenario, our participant had a hard time seeing the perspective of her friend who ditched her birthday party to hang out with her boyfriend. For our second research question, in what ways can VR's capabilities support the learning and transfer of cognitive reappraisal skills who have challenges? We saw that adolescents wanted high-risk experiences within a low-risk space. Having a variety of novel or risky experiences translated to VR with added support of modifying and pulling back when needed. We also saw that they wanted co-present social perspective taking, using avatars who are with you to give you advice and promote alternative perspectives. Here, a group of teens tried to look at having different avatars of varying heights and appearances before playing a VR basketball game. Teens also wanted scaffolding with multisensory feedback. They wanted support feedback that included not only audio and visuals, but also touch, warmth, and haptics. Another theme was interoceptive encounters. Teen proposed using VR to create external representations of internal thoughts, much like how they used tableaus in drama to show the audience what a character is thinking and feeling. And here's a group practicing a tableau. Next, we took our results and compared them to existing work published in HCI and Psychology. We compared our findings to existing cognitive reappraisal interventions targeting adolescents using various technologies, including virtual reality. We also looked at comparing our results to prior cognitive reappraisal interventions that targeted adults. We saw several gaps, including HCI interventions have not capitalized on social connection despite its importance to adolescents in our workshops. Technology could help adolescents who have diminished their thinking abilities or have a hard time imagining the perspective of another. Existing interventions so far have not included many novel emotional experiences that could help adolescents experience the unknown and practice cognitive reappraisal without major consequences. And few interventions provide a variety of experiences that give adolescents agency to select options to dealing with their emotions in their own way. Next, we'll see 3 different opportunities that youth wanted to see in cognitive reappraisal supports using virtual reality. The first was using embedded and embodied scaffolds to strengthen the mind-body connection and think about the appropriate response before acting. Next was externalizing the inner self to overcome brain freeze and support reappraisal of one's own thinking. And the last was provide different points of view to help those with inflexible imaginations. To put these design considerations into something more tangible, we created 3 different design implications that were strategically employed in an experiential intervention by showing how each could work in a scenario identified by adolescents from our co-design workshops. So imagine you're having ongoing fights with a friend because they blow you off to hang out with a partner. You feel disrespected, angry, and frustrated, and think they don't really care about you. You try to give your friend the benefit of a doubt, but it's hard to see the situation from their perspective. You can't stop thinking about this, and every time you do, it gets your blood boiling. You think you might just explode if your friend ditches you again, and you might say something you'll regret. Sometimes it feels like there's nothing you can do to change how you feel because the situation is out of your control, and you can't make your friend hang out with you. You feel stuck and you don't know what to do. You decide to go to the library to check out a VR headset and book a private room to use. You put on the headset and 3 different VR apps are available. You select the app and speak into a microphone. I call upon Jamie. A virtual avatar appears. It's Jamie, who you selected as a trustworthy figure in a previous session. Like how Osmo used scans of a person's body to upload a virtual avatar to their likeness. Similar to chatbots in prior interventions, a virtual representation of Jamie asks you how you're doing and suggests you go for a walk in the park with them to calm down. A virtual park environment fades in, similar to work by Kitson et al. And you move around and gaze and lean-based techniques for locomotion. You can use your tracked virtual hands to feed some birds. The walk in a calm virtual environment addresses diminished cognition because it decreases your anger in order to be able to think more rationally. Jamie puts their hand on your shoulder and asks what's bothering you. As you describe the situation, Jamie looks attentively at you, and because of the spatial qualities of VR, it feels like they're really there for you. They provide empathetic feedback. In line with prior work, they ask you questions to help you reflect on your thinking. The relevant questions framed with empathy from a virtual agent addresses selecting emotion regulation strategies and acting before thinking, because it supports reflection on considering multiple strategies, including your relationship to the situation, rather than defaulting immediately to problem solving. Jamie provides feedback on your reappraisals and suggests other tactics you might consider, providing real-time feedback on your reappraisal attempts. For future directions and considerations, we wonder how and in what ways are youth using social XR experiences to emotionally regulate. Future research should investigate how adolescents currently use VR to support aspects of learning and transferring cognitive reappraisal skills, to inspire design for emotion regulation interventions that align with their perspectives, practices, and needs. Also, what are the barriers and perspectives from critical populations? We wanted to keep our participants and facilitators safe from emotional harm, so we didn't go into deep emotional experiences like trauma. Exploring barriers in clinical domains is an important next step. And finally, embodied co-design methods. How can we support embodied ideation around VR and cognitive reappraisal challenges? Future research might consider these methods for exploring emotions to ensure the successful adaptation and engagement of teens. So in summary, we saw that embedded embodied scaffolds, different points of view, and externalizing thoughts as virtual objects are important main takeaways for design of cognitive reappraisal interventions involving virtual reality. Thank you to our research assistants, facilitators, Metro Vancouver students, school board, teachers, and staff.